Good morning, Trinidad and Tobago. It is a bright and early Saturday morning. It's a little after 10 o'clock. It's 2 minutes after 10 o'clock. And the date today is the 15th of February. We're about 9 days before Carnival. And I thought I would touch base with you this morning on a video to speak about the issue of shock doctrine and counter shock. And a lot of you may not know what shock doctrine is, so counter shock would be a lost notion. So I'll explain to you what shock doctrine is and why the Progressive Empowerment Party has grown into such a massive political organization seemingly overnight. First of all, it's not overnight. We've been working on this for decades, and we've been an official party for a little under 4 years now. Shock doctrine is when people with power and authority create a problem so that they could come back and solve the problem and look like they are good at what they do. But more importantly, most of the times they create a problem to solve the problem. They create the problem to spend money to solve the problem so that they could make money. Most of the times they create the problem to spend money to solve the problem. They spend the money by people that are friends of theirs. For example, the unsecured borders of Trinidad and Tobago. From Patrick Manning's days to now, which is a little over 20 years, we've known that the maritime security wall is the only solution, not the OPVs. The OPVs is nonsense, but this is shock doctrine. Create a problem, there is guns coming in, there's drugs coming in, there's human trafficking taking place, solve the problem. Jesus Christ, pull out your hair, let's rend our garments, let's get scream, let's panic. What's the solution? And then a jackass will stand up and tell you about offshore patrol vessels, and that sounds like a solution. Do that! But it's not. Because we live in a country where we've had, from the highest public office holders to the lowest, being corrupted and bribed and induced to do things contrary to what they're really supposed to be doing. Now, I'm not casting aspersions this morning. I believe that for history and the future and whatever information comes to the public space to identify why we can't secure these borders with what we have. But there is no arguing the fact that international drug traffickers who use Trinidad as a pipeline, they don't want to sell cocaine in Trinidad to our little sprangers. They want to sell cocaine to the world, and they want to use a forum. You can't ship from Mexico and Colombia and even Venezuela as easy as you could ship from Trinidad and Tobago. So they use Trinidad and Tobago as a port of destination to ship into international jurisdictions their drugs. The point, though, is that we could secure this nation's borders. The maritime security wall is a perfect solution to the problem. The maritime security wall allows us to position 6 to 8 repurposed oil barges around the country and connect them with a 360-degree radar and sonar buoys 3 miles out at sea, creating a virtual line in the sand, what we call the maritime line in the sea, what we call the maritime security wall. And that allows for interceptor, fast attack boats and interceptor helicopters to pull aside any marine craft, or is it fast attack helicopters and interceptor boats, to pull aside marine craft to examine their contents for contraband, and everyone should, because we're an established narcotics destination. And we know that because we shipped $1 billion worth of coke to Spain, and we shipped $300 million worth of coke to Vietnam, and we shipped $600 million to Norfolk, Virginia, and we found $600 million in Monas Island. So, and people have said Monas Island is a fantastic destination if you want to be moving cocaine. So we know. And to buy OPVs or UPVs or any kind of PVs is contingent on the operator, on the captain, on the crew. And people moving $1 billion worth of cocaine have no problem compromising everybody, anybody. They compromise you by threat. They compromise you by inducement. So you, the captain, or you, the man in charge of the boat, or you, the team in charge of the boat, you get told to turn away from a certain area between a certain time, or your family will be in danger. Now, Trinidad pays you to be the Coast Guard, but Trinidad does a lousy job of protecting you. We've seen prisons officers getting murdered, police officers getting murdered, and you can't blame people for when their lives on the line to say Trinidad is not really, I can't rely on Trinidad law enforcement and leadership, and you can't blame them. There's also, we live in a country where people like nice things, and money, cocaine money flows free. They have a lot of it to spend. A kilo of coke in Colombia, I've been told, is worth $1,000. A kilo of coke in America is $250,000, and the money is the moving of it. But the issue that I wanted to raise is the issue of counter shock, which is being able to bring information into the public space. And I didn't want to dwell on the example of the drug trade and the boats and the OPVs and the maritime security wall, because many of you looking at this right now be confused. Would the OPVs work? Would the maritime security wall work? How much will all of this cost? How long will it take? Who will do it? Who can we trust? Trinidad is failing. And all of that goes on. And that's the point. Somebody that I respect greatly yesterday said to me, someone that she respects greatly told her, I love that man, Philip Edward Alexander. I love his ideas. I love what he says, and I believe that he's bringing a practical approach to solving the problems. But I have a real concern with what passes for passion in his videos, and I don't like the way he comes across, and so I let her talk. Now, when she was finished speaking, I played 6 videos for her. 6 of my videos that were recently done of calm, rational issues, 3-minute videos. We do videos on topics, on issues. And she said to me, but I've never seen those videos. I said, no, because those videos don't get shared. The way passionate videos get shared. And that's what counter shock is. Counter shock is people are going to look at me and expect a certain amount of care and consideration for specific things. The people in Morvan, Beetham, Laventille and Sea Lots hardly would have chosen me as their champion, because nobody would expect that I would care how they lived, judging me by my appearance. So if I cannot speak to people the way they understand, or as Rudyard Kipling said, speak to kings but don't lose the common touch, you would know that there was a Progressive Empowerment Party. The media has blacked us out. If the Progressive Empowerment Party had gotten 10% of the media it's entitled to, 10% of the media all the little jokey parties get. If the Progressive Empowerment Party just made news for the things that it does today, Saturday, we're having a public meeting, nobody from the media will be there, and we stopped even caring. We stopped even trying, because we're still the biggest thing in politics without media. Without CNC3, TV6, Guardian, Express, Newsday, without them, the country thinks the Progressive Empowerment Party is the de facto opposition. Now ask yourself, how much work and effort it took? Some people will say, well, some people don't know about the PEP, and I understand that, because it's been 3.5 years, and we've been on the ground, and we've been busy, and we've been working 25 days a week, 25 hours a day, 8 days a week. But it's not possible yet to hit everywhere yet, and a lot of the places we get to, some of the people not home, all the different reasons. But the word is spreading, and it's spreading exponentially, because it's become a wave. People are understanding now that there is not only an alternative party, there is a serious political movement with real options. People who are willing to not only explain to you the solution, they're willing to explain the problem in depth. We go into the history. We identify where it starts from, why it happens, who's involved, why they're involved, what they benefit from, what the solution would be, how you apply the solution, how long it will take. You get so much information. So when people come on the walls and say, I've heard this from politicians before, that's nonsense. You've never heard this from politicians before. You've never heard a politician like me before. Any issue that they ask me a question on, I talk on and on and on and on and on and on until they say, okay, we get it, we understand now. We understand. Thousands of hours of video, millions of words typed. All of it done to wake the voters up. Somebody said, what about the people who are diehard PNM and the diehard UNC? I said, don't care about them. They will wake up one day. A diehard person is by definition somebody who cannot exorcise the fact that they are seeing the truth and they're hearing the truth, but they can't accept the truth. You can't deal with them yet. What you have to deal with is the rest of the population, and this is why the PEP exists. The Progressive Empowerment Party exists because more than 50% of the population of this country would rather have nothing to do with the PNM or the UNC. Now, I'll tell you this, emotional intelligence is very, very important. It's easy to cuss and castigate and run people. Not easy to do. Any monkey could do it. But we have to work together. You see, the criminals, the corrupt, the racists, the people with agendas who form themselves into political organizations and promote their agendas, they might hate each other, but they're willing to work together for common cause. And that's what we, the people of the country, have to be able to do. Don't see people as our knee-jerk reaction to why I don't like them. to black, to white, to green, to brown, to yellow, to red, to tall, to short, to fat, to thin, to Hindu, to Muslim, to Christian, to gay, to straight. All those tools have nothing to do with your politics. Has nothing to do with your life. Has nothing to do with your country. Who people voting, who people sleeping with at night, who people praying to have nothing to do with what they're voting for. You have to vote for things that make a difference in your life. If I thought for a minute Trinidadians were stupid people, I wouldn't do this. If I thought for a minute I wouldn't waste my time, any more of my precious time, if I thought Trinidadians could learn, if I thought Trinidadians were beyond understanding, I'd have done this a long time ago. But I don't believe that. I believe Trinidadians are some of the most brilliant people in the world. Eric Williams said 50 years ago, if Trinidadians put half the effort we put into Carnival, into any other pursuit, we could put a man on the moon. And I believe that. But Trinidadians all over the world, once a Trinidadian get out of Trinidad, all over the world, Trinidadians excel at the highest level. Why is that? When you have a plant that has a lot of potential to be something, if you have it in a little pot, it'll be limited by that pot. Trinidad is our pot, and it limits us to how far we could grow. You take that same plant out of that pot and put it in the ground, and in quick time, it's a tree. And you're wondering why it didn't become a tree? In the pot, no room to expand. And we need to give our people room to expand. We need to give people room to maximize their potential. We need to give people hope and opportunity. These are not buzzwords. You hear other politicians talk some of the things I talk, but everything that we say works together with everything else to prove to you. When we say undo and redo Trinidad and Tobago, we're not joking. We're serious. Our towns are laid out bad. Our cities are laid out bad. Our traffic management is laid out bad. We run our reservoirs in places where rain don't fall. We have a massive coastline and we do nothing to secure it. We've created an environment where it is easy to approach any public officer and corrupt them. It is easier to sue somebody for calling out a criminal than it is to take action against the crime. All of these things work against us, and I understand if you want to throw your hands up in the air. And a lot of people said, before you, Mr. Alexander, I had thrown my hands in the air. Before you, I had given up completely. And it's not because you're sexy, it's because the way you and members of your party break the issues down, I understand now. I never thought that it was ridiculous that our drainage system was built to collect the bounty of rainfall and wash it into the sea until you said it. Until you asked about the money from the pitch lake, I never thought to ask. And since you've asked, I've been researching, and for about 2 decades, we have no accounting for the pitch lake. Before you spoke about timers on justice, I did not know it could take 25 years for breaking an entry to work its way through the court. And what happens is the same media that I'm talking about, that very good at highlighting what they want to highlight, also very good at playing hide and seek with the real news. The real news of Trinidad and Tobago this morning has nothing to do with me and has everything to do with us. Because the day 1.4 million Trinidadians and Tobagonians sing a common song, the day 1.4 million of us sing with one voice, everybody in public office will snap to attention. I spoke to somebody, a French citizen. He is a senior chef in Trinidad. He said to me, the French government is deathly afraid of the mob. That's who they refer to, the French voters. They turn on you. They vote for you. They campaign for you. Your posters on their car, on their house, in their office, they're wearing your t-shirt, they're waving your flag. But don't let them down. Because the same people that vote you in office will march against you, will protest against you, will drag you out of office. And that's what we need to be. We need to take our democracy seriously. It doesn't require all 1.4 million of us going into Parliament to do the job. But it requires 1.4 million of us finding the best people to do the job and holding them to account. Don't turn your back. Don't turn your eyes. The Progressive Empowerment Party gives you timelines. We told you when the UNC was voted into office and Ganga Singh told you water for all, that was enough. That was enough. We accept that. Keith Rowley said, we will solve the crime. That was enough. But it's not enough. It's not enough. When people make a political promise to you, you must get an undertaking from them that they understand how it works. Buzzwords is the tool of marketing companies and advertising agencies that says, we've tested the numbers. People are most interested in traffic, crime, poverty, jobs, money. So if you make buzzwords, sound bites, say the right words at the right time, you will confuse them into thinking that you know what you're talking about. I never tire of telling people, I went to a store in Trinity Mall and bought what I thought was a genuine leather belt. Because I saw the words genuine leather belt. And in about 3 months it cracked up. And when I turned it over to see what kind of genuine leather belt it was, the word leather was missing. There was never the word leather. It was a genuine belt. And I couldn't sue them because they didn't lie. It was a genuine belt. It just wasn't leather and it didn't last. When a politician tells you that they're going to turn the education system, ask them from what? Ask them to demonstrate to you what the problem is. Because if you don't know the problem, you cannot apply the solution. And you have to be able to explain the problem in a way that you could explain it and I could understand it. Because if it's above my head and you have to lose me in the conversation, you don't understand it well enough. Make sure that the politician could explain the problem to you. Make sure the politician could explain the solution to you in ways that gives you budgets and timelines. If I tell you that our problem with our education system is that we have a handful of prestige schools and the rest also ran, despite the $5 billion that is being spent on education, is being spent on the collective, and all of the teachers come from the same teaching system, and all of the schools use the same curriculum. So they're supposed to follow the same system and apply the same methods and get the same results. But they don't. Across the road from Fatima College, a prestige school, is Mokorapo Junior Secondary, a failed school. And how could that be so? If the only thing different between the two of them is a location separated by 2 lanes of tar, something else has to be wrong. The Progressive Empowerment Party understands. We are using the Finland model because success leaves clues. If you're going to do something that works, look for somebody that already getting it to work and copy them. You don't have to reinvent the wheel, and the Finland model works. And we want to rebuild, you see. We want to rebuild 200 schools that hold 1,000 children. 200,000 children is the population, give or take, of our education system. 200 schools throughout the country holding 1,000 children each, zoned. How could we trust you? Well, there'll be no more Mokorapos and there'll be no more St. Joseph's and presentations, because we need everybody now to trust that the education system will deliver. And we will sign a contract with Trinidad and Tobago. Every child that fails, if the parent wanted, could bring a lawsuit against the state. Lawyers could bring class action lawsuits against the state for every child that failed in our education system and put them on the stand and let them justify where that $5 billion goes. The fact that we don't have a continuous assessment of the children's performance, and I'm not getting down into this, I'm just using it as an example, but I want you to understand, every single politician that you talk to, especially those who want to be prime minister, they must understand everything. They must understand things in a way that when they talk, it lulls you to sleep. That you develop a confidence. This person, if given the opportunity, if they keep their word, will solve the problem, will make my life better. Imagine a situation where there is a national target, 4.0. Let's say that's a grade point average. And every child in this country now, in a similar classroom, in a similar school, and zoned for where they live, that'll solve 2 problems. It'll give you effective education and kill the traffic. You ever notice that when school closed, we have no traffic? Half that traffic is moving school children all across the country. I don't want to dwell on the education problem, but I want to show you that when you say that you're going to do that, you then have to tell us, okay, but what will that cost? We spend $5 billion a year. So has it fit in that $5 billion a year will cost less? Or you have to show where that money coming from. And how long will that take? But building 200 purpose-built schools for 1,000 children, it's a lot of work. It put a lot of workers to work. So we'll generate a lot of jobs. We're no longer stuffing fries in a box and swinging batons. Progressive Empowerment Party has a massive redevelopment plan for Trinidad and Tobago. The port of Port of Spain has to move. You have to move the port of Port of Spain for many reasons, but mostly because the port of Port of Spain is not set up to unstuff the containers on the ports. You need to unstuff the containers on the ports because our country is a narco state. And anybody that is against you unstuffing the containers on the port, ask them why. If they tell you it'll take longer, bullshit. We'll make it take shorter. We will make sure that there is enough container and stuffing space in this new developed port in Point Lisas that the containers come off the ports, come off the ships, and come to you faster. You'll get in 24 hours. Your container, as you show up, is in a shed. You're in a shed with customs officers. Everything is camera rigged and recording for supervision of you, your goods, and the customs officer. So we could check at any time. And in that station, you have all of the facilities in that shed to take everything out of the container. We will put transport people to work. Those who buying rigs now to just come and pull containers, change your plan. You need to be able to bring trucks and take your stuff. If you want to pack it back into the same container and take it off the port, no problem. But we need to pull everything off. Chad D. Govaya, I have no interest in joining the UNC. You vote UNC partner. If you think that more of the same will help you, you continue that way. The reality of the situation is doing that and moving the port of Port of Spain to a new facility, that generates jobs. That creates a whole new environment for the development of business ancillary to port services. We want to rebuild the port so that we could get involved in port services globally, shipping, ship turnaround, etc., marine services, that we could handle 20 ships. Right now we can handle 2. We need to be able to handle 20 ships at a time. That's the international average. 20 container ships. We need to be able to be moving ships into and out of our offloading system real fast. And these people, shipping people, they count this thing by the minute. So we have to be able to do that. But the reason for moving the port of Port of Spain is another simple one. That 90% of what comes off the ships in the port of Port of Spain have to leave Port of Spain. They're not for Port of Spain. So why are we offloading it there? Why are we offloading it there? Why would I just go and offload them on Maracas Beach? If you want it to be as ridiculous to make the point. The point is, we need to make sure that all of the decisions that we make are made to the benefit of Trinidad and Tobago. There's another point I want to add. Self-liquidating. Self-liquidating means any plan that you come up with must pay for itself. If you tell me, Philip, that you're going to move the port of Port of Spain to a facility 10 times the size in Point Lisas, tell me how it will pay for itself. How long will it take before it's functional and operational? If you move the port out of Port of Spain, in quick time, a lot of the traffic that has to do with moving 20 and 40-foot containers through tiny little Wrightson Road, that's gone. So that's impacted the traffic tremendously. Because all up the Eastern Main Road and that highway, Beetham Highway, the traffic, imagine it, without 20-foot and 40-foot containers. And that's just another example. We have many examples. We talk about water. We talk about repurposing all of those drains and canals and rivers that were built to wash the water, the rainwater into the sea. We now want to repurpose them with express lanes for water, pumping the water straight to reservoirs, catchment facilities, retention ponds. But you can't go somewhere unless you know where you're trying to go. If you ask this government or the last government, well, I want a debate, you know. I want a debate so bad. I want to ask Keith Rowley and Kamla Persad-Bissessar, do you know the consumption pattern for water in Trinidad and Tobago? Do you know? Do you know how much water we need for personal consumption, for industry, and for otherwise? Do you know how much water we actually need to hold? Because that's important. Hadassah, you're asking a question. If it's at me, I don't understand what you mean, so ask it again and I'll answer it. We need to know. We need to know if we're chasing 500 billion gallons of water. So that, and over what kind of time frame? Because you don't need 500 billion gallons of water now. You need 500 billion gallons of water over 12 months. You get that 500 billion gallons of water over 6 months. So you need to manage the water. You need to manage the water. Our truth is our politics has set us against each other. We come on threads like this little guy just now say join UNC because he want to vote UNC. That's like saying I want to date and marry somebody without meeting them and knowing their personality. I can't just choose somebody and marry them because I think they have a nice butt. Because I'll end up married to an ass. And that's what we need to change. We need to know. Don't buy a car because it's flashy. Buy a car because it's functional. If what you want is a vehicle to move garbage, don't buy a Rolls Royce. Buy a garbage truck. Know what you're trying to accomplish. When you're voting for people, vote for people who sound like they're capable and competent. Vote for people who sound like they have a working understanding of the problem. I will do my next live video that I will do a video that you could ask me any question about the operation of the nation state of Trinidad and Tobago. Any question. And I will do my endeavor best to give you as much of an answer that I can so that you get, without Googling, without researching, without scripting, without looking for paper. There are issues that affect this country and all of those issues can be solved. But you are not going to solve those issues voting people into office who do not understand what the problems are in the first place. We could get where we need to go, Trinidad and Tobago, today. Don't waste time in your politics. The two young boys who stopped last night to talk to me, 29 years old, that stopped to tell me, all are we voting for you? You moved me. I tell you why you moved me. When I was 29 years old, I didn't care about politics. You moved me. The way you spoke, the way that you understood policies, the way that you understood problems, the fact that you took my phone number to follow up with me, and like that, hold me to account. I love that. The young people, all 310,000 of you that will be eligible to vote in the next election, you are a moving mass for change. And if anybody is going to be affected by the next political choice, it is all 310,000 of you. Don't vote race. Don't vote face. Vote for people who will make it possible for you to maximize your potential so that you do not waste another day of your life living in a rat hole. I have a meeting to go to Saturday, but I wanted to touch base and to tell people that this video here, this video may not go viral. But if I was on the back of my van outside of a building ranting and raving and challenging the government, people send that everywhere. So I have to find a way to package the two of them together. You ought to help me now, you know. A lot of y'all claim me. A lot of y'all claim the movement. A lot of y'all saying, yes, we part of it. Okay, good. But for this rising tide to lift all boats, every drop of rain have to contribute to the flood. We need to do this together. This is not a me thing. This is a we thing. And Trinidad and Tobago, we not only supposed to be the third wealthiest nation in the Western world, we're supposed to be one of the wealthiest nations on the planet. Trinidad and Tobago is supposed to have the highest quality of life in the world, that people tripping over themselves to get here to stay in our 6, 7, and 8-star resorts. We could have all of that. We could make it possible for all of our people to find their song and to sing it. Let's do that. Let's stop consigning our people to packing fries and swinging batons because they have no choice. We could do this together, Trinidad and Tobago. We are working every single day. We do not stop working. We are working every single day to make a better Trinidad and Tobago. And if that's what you want, join the Progressive Empowerment Party. Visit peptt.com and get more information. If you need clarity on anything, you could message me, Philip Edward Alexander. I have a fan page and a profile page. You can message me directly. I'll direct you to where you need to go. If you want to be added to the WhatsApp broadcast group, send me a message to 682-2110. No greetings, no lovings, no prayers. Just send me a message to 682-2110 with your name and you'll be added. So, until later, stay safe, Trinidad and Tobago.